What's going on, YouTube? J&T Customs back with another video. We are actually working on the F350 here, Lucy, and yeah. So real quick, I wanted to mention that we're gaining subscribers. It's super nice. I'm really really appreciate that. All you guys doing that. So if you want to keep liking and subscribing, that would mean a whole lot to Jay and I. We really appreciate you guys sticking around and enjoying our content. So without further ado, I'm going to flip the camera and get you all set up with Jay, and he's going to take over.
Hey YouTube, this is J&T Customs. I'm Jay.
I'm T.
And how are you doing? Alright. How we doing, guys? So, I'm just going to lay down here on the job and just hang out for a while. Alright. What we did was we bought packs of these things. These are LED lights, and they come, I think they're 10 to a pack. I'm not sure. I forget. It's been a while since I bought them. But in the last video, I said that we were going to do some work on this. We're going to put lights on a running board. Well, that's what we did. We put the lights on a running board. Now, we have amber ones for the sides, a couple red ones we're going to put in the back, on the very back. Okay. But right now, I'm going to work on the running boards. This is a running board. Oh boy. Yes, we're going to work on the running boards here, and we're going to hook these guys up. So, there are several ways to do this. Now, you can see that Lucy is dirty. I live in the northeast area, and the farmers are cleaning out their fields, cutting the corn, and so on and so forth. So, the roads are disgustingly dirty and muddy. It's been raining here for the last 3 days. So I didn't even bother to get Lucy washed. She's pretty dirty. So I put these on in the summertime or earlier in the summer. I don't know when it was. June, July or August, somewhere around there. So in doing so, the screws got rusted. So I'm not going to touch the screws. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill new holes into this metal for the ground. But what you can do, this is a 2-wire setup, okay? So this is the ground, and then this is your power. So what you can do is when you put this down, okay, it comes with, look at my little box of tricks here. Alright. It comes with a screw and a nut. Okay, so this goes through. It would go through the body as we drill a hole through it, and then this goes in the back and it screws it in place. Okay, or holds it in place like that. It's a little nut and screw. All right. What you can do is you can take a ring connector. You're going to crimp this. You're going to pull it back. Okay. Put it in here and just pull it back like that, and it's supposed to work, but this one is not working. Like that. So you just strip back about 1/4 of an inch. Okay. Then you put this in here. Alright. Now, I'm going to get a different one because I don't like the way that this one is working. Stand by. Okay, so again, this is a Craftsman. Okay, and basically you're going to look for the size of the cable. This says, wait a minute, let me get my eyes on. Oh, there they are. This says there's numbers on here, okay, and you put the cable size in here. This is 16 gauge cable. You cut back about 1/4 of an inch. You pull on it like that, and it strips the cable back. Okay. Now this actually looks like, because it's 16, it wants to be a red connector, not a blue one, a red one. However, I don't have any reds, I only have blues with me. You look for number 16 on the wire crimper here, and you crimp back about a 1/4 of an inch. Alright, just so that your wire just comes through the hole so you can see it. Okay, and that is a good place for it. Then you put it on red. Now there is a red, and if you look, this says insulated and non-insulated. Okay, and there's 2 different places for that. All right, so the insulated goes here. You crimp it down like that, so the back side is smooth and the front side has the dimple in it. Okay, and I'm going to crimp that down just a little bit more. You don't have to get super crushy with this. Okay, you just have to squish it down, give it a tug, make sure it doesn't come out. All right, then when you put this through your metal, wherever you're screwing it into, whether it's screwed in there, okay, as long as it's a metal surface, all right, you can take your wire ring terminal, it's called a ring terminal, and you tighten this down until it's tight up against the back of the body. And this is now your ground. And then you just take this and you hook it up to your live power and you're all set. Okay, that's how that works. You could take this also and you could run a ground wire if you wanted to. Okay, this is the easiest thing. This is the easiest thing to do. It's grounded right there. Everything is good, and then you just hook this up to your hot. Okay, or to your power. So, what we're gonna do on our application, unfortunately, like I said, because I put this in, I don't know if that's blinding you and making a mess here, but because I put this in back in August, okay, these are kind of rusty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill new holes through here. I'm going to use some sheet metal screws, and I'm just going to make new holes in the running board, and then just run my power wire, connect them all together as we go down, and then we will connect that to the side marker light. Okay, and that's how we're going to do that. All right, so first thing we do is we're going to cut this back. So I strip back and put it in 16, and I strip back about a 1/4 of an inch, and I just push on it like that. So let me show you again. So all I do is, now I'm left-handed, you're going to do the same exact thing in your right hand. Okay, put it in 16, 1/4 inch down, squeeze, and then hold the wires and just push the tool with your thumb, and then it just pops right off. Okay, just like that. And then you take your red connector. Okay, you can do this if you want. Take your red connector, push it through until you see it sticking out. Then you put it in your red, okay, place, and you put the point. So the pointy part here goes on this side, like that. Okay, and then you squeeze real tight. Boop. Okay, and then you have a nice crimp there. Give it a little tug, make sure it doesn't come apart, and there you have it. And then what we'll do is we're just going to take some sheet metal screws, and I'm just going to screw right into the fender here, and then that'll get screwed down, and then that's my ground. Okay, so these are, and I'm in front of the camera, so I don't know. T had to go and do some studying for college, so you're on the tripod, so I don't know where I am in the picture. If I'm not in the picture, my head's cut off, whatever, I apologize. But this is a sheet metal screw, Okay, and we're just going to pop this right through here. Okay, or at least we're going to try to do that. See what happens. Okay, always wear your safety glasses. I actually need to wear my glasses, reading glasses, so I can see what the heck I'm doing here. And I'm going to just put this in the middle. Nice, that went in nice. Oops. Parts everywhere. Okay. And now I'm going to take my connector, put it up here, like that, put it in the hole. Everything's going to fall in place. Come on. May have to drill a hole. This stuff's pretty thick, so I may have to drill a hole first. Try it again. That worked. Alright, just have to push a little harder. And we're going to put the connector. You want to make sure that the flat side of the connector, you want to put it like that, not like that, and then this is going to be crushed. You want to make sure the flat side's like that, up against your work, because you want a good ground. Okay, and that's the worst thing that will happen. And when you do that, if you don't have a good ground, the lights will flicker, they'll do all kinds of weird things, and so on and so forth. So you always want to make sure you have a good ground. Now, what I'm going to do, just for reference here, is I'm going to take my wire. Okay, I'm using the same, this is 14 gauge wire, I believe. Let me double check that. Yeah, this is 14 gauge wire. So it's a little thicker. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook this up here for the moment and just touch the battery and make sure that that lights up. So I know that the running board is a good viable ground and it's going to work. Okay. Otherwise, if it doesn't, I have to find a better ground. So, I'm going to get out of the camera way. You'll probably see that light up if it works. There you have it. Okay, and there it is. Very simple, lights up. Okay, so again, black wire, screw it in. Hook your black wire up like that. Okay, and then you just hook this up to power and it's going to work like a charm. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to crimp all of these down and screw them to the the running board, and then we'll go from there. And again, the only reason why I'm using screws and not the nut itself on this is because these have been here a while, so they've rusted and I can't get the nuts off. So I'm not going to mess with them. I'm just going to put a new screw in. If you're putting these in new, just do like this right here and it'll work like a charm. So we're all grounded now. now what we're going to do is we're going to take our wire. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use heat shrink. Okay, you can buy this at the regular store. Buy it at Walmart, you can buy it at the auto parts store, you can buy it just about anywhere. Okay, so we're going to take some heat shrink. Scissors work better. Okay, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pieces. I cut like 1.5 inches, because that's kind of really all we need. Okay, just like that. I don't know if you're in the picture for that, but here's your heat shrink. Where am I? There we are. Okay, 5 pieces of heat shrink. Doesn't have to be very big. Okay, just has to cover our solder. All right. Okay. What I mean by them in the elements, this is going to get full of snow. It's going to get full of mud, water, rain, da 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 da. Okay, dirt, debris. I want to make sure that my connection is super good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solder my connection together. Okay. So first thing I do, put my heat shrink on. You can use connectors if you're inside the cab or not in a element area where there's going to be water or what have you. You can use these. These are barrel connectors. Okay, and what that is that you put one end in, put this end in here, crimp it, put this end in here, crimp it. Okay, I find that a lot of times this comes apart, especially if it's in the weather, it will come apart and then it will fail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solder mine together. If you don't know how to solder, it's pretty easy. You just get a soldering iron. This is a soldering iron. Okay. You put a little bit of solder on your iron, on the tip. Okay, until it starts to flow like that. Alright. And then when it's shiny, you put that up against the copper wire. And then you just add a little bit of solder to this side. And then when it's tinned, this is pulled tin. When it's tinned, it will be silver instead of copper looking. Okay. And then what I do is I just fold this back like this up against the wire, and I bring my heat shrink over. Now you can use a lighter. I'm going to use a heat gun just because I have one. You just heat this up. Okay, there you have it. So now there's my power guy. So now I'm going to feed this, because this bracket comes all the way out to here and there's an empty space in here. So I'm going to feed this through there underneath here so the wire stays up. There's some holes in it, and then I can just wire tie it together so you don't see the wires. But then I'm going to come to this one. Now what I'm going to do here, so now I'm just going to get another piece of wire, and I am going to connect to this side marker light. So I'm going to run this up underneath the frame over here, and go in here and connect to this light right here. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is check and make sure everything is working. So now I'm going to show you something that you might find pretty neat. Okay. You're just taking a regular extension cord and you plug it into one of the ends. Okay. And then you take the plug side and you cut your battery. Okay? So our lights are working. They are connected. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wire, I'm going to run it up over the frame and then back around, and I'm just going to plug it into this cable here, okay, to this wire here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to the positive side, not the ground side, the positive side, okay. And then when I turn the lights on, they're all going to work. Okay, so what I've done is I have my red wire there that goes up and gets attached to this black wire here. Okay, and what I've done is I've taken this black wire. This is the connector that goes to the light. Okay, so I've stripped back the connector. The black wire is the ground, so we're not going to connect it to the black wire. We're going to connect it to the green, to the yellow and green wire. So I'm just going to cut this, splice it into here, and solder it in place. And then I'll put this wrap back on it and plug it back in. There you have it. So the wire's in. It just goes up and around. I have it just wire tied, and it goes in there to that light. Let's see how we did. Pretty cool, huh? There's an added bonus. I didn't know it was going to do that. Pretty neat. And then they'll go out. But there you have it. And that is how you do that. So what I'll do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'll do the other side. Okay? I'm not going to let, you don't need to watch it. You watch one side. That's how you do one side. So I'm going to go finish the other side. And then next time we are going to put in bed lights back here. How many times do you come back to your truck and it is dark and you can't see a bloody thing in the back of your bed? Well, I've got a remedy for that, and we're going to fix that. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you on the next one. Till then.